This is Kam Mcneese. Kam is a two-sport athlete who plays both baseball and basketball for the Steinbrenner Warriors here in Lutz, Florida. And when it comes to basketball, Kam is the type of player that can play almost any position on the court, like LeBron James. He's mostly a combo forward, and in this season, he's projected to be, hopefully, knock on wood, the starting small forward for the Steinbrenner Varsity Warriors basketball team. But even though most people know Kam for basketball and baseball, he's always had a love for football. Kam used to live in Illinois before moving to Nebraska, and growing up, he became a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. And then eventually, Kam made his way down to Florida, where he's spending his high school years at Steinbrenner High School. And even though football was not the sport he ended up playing for the Warriors, we're going to find out what would happen if Kam took the athleticism from the court and the baseball diamond and brought it here to football. So today, I'm putting Kam Mcneese into College Football 27 Road to Glory to see what he would be like if he was a 5-star tight end in his senior season. He's going to have 5 high school games to prove himself against actual teams in real life, such as Alonzo, Gaither, Tampa Bay Tech, and others. They are actually in the game, and he will be playing against them. And the ultimate goal for Kam is to get that scholarship from the Texas Longhorns, his dream school. My name is Beatbox. This is Beatbox Gaming. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and let's get on with the video. Before Kam had even played his first game, he already got the message he was waiting for. This kid was a 5-star tight end, the best player in the state and one of the top players in the nation. But with even all that hype, only one school had reached out so far, his dream school, Texas. Coach Sarkisian let Kam know that if he came to Austin, he would be featured in one of the best offenses in the country. Screens, deep shots, jet sweeps, deep passes, they want to use him everywhere. And with Texas being Kam's dream school, this meant everything. Kam wasn't ready to commit just yet, but before the season even started, Texas already had made the first move. Now, for high school Road to Glory and College Football 27, the way it works is you don't play the full game. Instead, you get 4 moments every game where you have to prove yourself. And for Kam's first game against Alonzo, these are his 4 moments. First, we got crisp and clean, where Kam has to show he's not just a big tight end, that he can actually run routes and get open. Then we got in the seams, where the offense wants to use him right in the middle of the field against cover 3, which is a perfect for a big body tight end like Kam at 6'5". After that, we got against the clock, where Kam is under the red zone with 2 minutes left, and he has the chance to make a big-time touchdown high school Road to Glory and College Football 27. Finally, we got go deep. The way it works is they're sending Kam vertical and giving him a chance to make a huge play every game where you have the biggest thing is, and for Kam's first game against Alonzo, these are his 4 moments. School takes score. First, we got crisp and clean, which is the school that Kam has to show he's not just a big tight end. In these moments, actually run around just helping his team win. Then we got in the seams, where the offense wants to use him right in the middle of the field against cover 3, which is a perfect for a big body tight end like Kam at 6'5". After that, we got against the clock, where Kam is under the red zone with 2 minutes left, and he has the chance to make a big-time touchdown catch. Kam's excited that Coach Sark reached out, but now it's time to lock in. The first game of his senior season against the Alonzo Ravens is here, and with Texas scouts in attendance, this is his first chance to prove why he's the best tight end in the country. And already, Coach wants the ball in Kam's hands, and he beats his man to get past the first down for a 12-yard gain. What a catch by Kam, and the Warriors already have the first down. And immediately on the next play, Kam is supposed to run a curl route, but he sees the opening and he takes it. So he runs down the field and says, "Wango!" Kam Mcneese, but he head tops his defender to get the huge game and leads the Warriors to the red zone. A few plays later, the Warriors find themselves in 2nd and goal, and they will need the touchdown. But Kam false starts before the quarterback even snaps the ball. And the next play, one of his teammates gets the touchdown. Fast forward to the end of the second quarter, with about a minute to play. Steinbrenner had driven all the way down to the 5-yard line and was holding on to a 3-point lead. On a 2nd and 4, Coach dialed up a slant play to Kam. He made the catch, but came up a few inches short of the first down. Everyone in the stadium knew where the ball was going. It was going to Kam Mcneese, and he runs the route and he gets it in the end zone for a touchdown. Kam Mcneese scores his first touchdown of his senior season and extends the lead to 7 points. Now into the second half. In the third quarter, with 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining, and Kam is running across the middle of the field, he gets past the defender and says, "Wango!" Kam Mcneese comes down with a huge 20-yard play to move the Warriors down the field. Fast forward to the fourth quarter, with 8 minutes remaining. Steinbrenner was clinging to a 3-point lead and looking for one more drive to put this game away. But this time, things went wrong. Kam tried to break off his route and called for the football, but the quarterback never saw the defender sitting underneath. The pass was picked off. The Warriors were able to escape Alonzo 33-30, but this game was not as clean as Kam wanted it to be. The recruiting rankings took a hit. Kam dropped all the way from a 5-star to a 4-star, but barely. He's still the number 1 player in the state of Florida, and the hype was far from over. But nationally, he fell down to the number 3 tight end in the country. So Texas was still interested. But now they had a reason to keep evaluating him instead of fully buying in right away. That performance behind him, Kam had one goal: earn back his 5-star rating and remind every college in the country why he was still one of the best players in America. But it wasn't going to be easy. His next test came against one of the best teams in Hillsborough County, the Plant Panthers, who have won about 1 or 2 state championships and are trying to get another one. Now, we move into the second quarter with 8 minutes remaining. The Warriors are backed up at their own 22-yard line, and Coach draws up a play for Kam across the middle between the hashes. He runs right past his defender, makes the catch, breaks the tackle, and takes it across the midfield for a gain of over 30 yards. Then, on the very next play, Kam gets the ball again. He runs another perfect route, beats his man, and gets the Warriors all the way down near the 20-yard line. Kam is absolutely taking over this drive, and he still wasn't done. A few plays later, he blows past his sorry defender again, goes up in the air and says, "Wango!" He uses his hops and takes him all the way down to the 2-yard line. What a jump by Kam! He was using every bit of that basketball athleticism, and Plant had no answer for him. 2 plays later, Kam runs a drag route and gets it into the end zone for the Warriors touchdown. Now, here we are in the third quarter, 8 minutes and 54 seconds remaining. Once again, Stein has the ball at their own 22-yard line. So he cuts to the outside, Kam makes the catch. He makes one man miss. Another man misses. And then a defender tries to dive, but he jukes, and the defender dives to the sidelines. He's going down. The 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Warriors. Kam Mcneese is Iron Man. He will not be stopped. Not even 3 men could bring down Kam Mcneese. What a play. That is why he's the number 1 tight end in the nation. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. The Warriors were clinging to a 30-27 lead with just 2 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. After an offsides penalty pushed them back, they were facing a 2nd and 15 near the 40-yard line. Kam ran a route over the middle, made a catch, but came up just 1 yard short of the first down. That brought up 3rd and inches. The Warriors needed to keep this drive alive. Kam secured the catch, moved the chains, and kept the clock running. On the very next play, Kam absolutely pancaked the edge rusher. He drove him straight to the turf. And then a few plays later, the Warriors faced 3rd and 4 from the 14-yard line. Once again, Coach trusted Kam. He came across the middle, got a step on his defender, and he jumped in the air for the touchdown. Just like that, the Warriors seal the deal and get the victory against the Panthers. And after that performance, the rankings changed again. Kam earned back his spot as the number 1 tight end in the nation, stayed the number 1 player in the state of Florida, and most importantly, he was back to being a 5-star recruit. But while looking through Kam's recruiting board, I started to notice a few things. First, Illinois and Northwestern, both schools in the Big Ten that didn't have much recent success. Both of these schools would have give Kam a chance to start right out of the gate without having to sit behind any other players. And this is huge for Kam. As the #1 tight end in the nation, he wants to get on the field as soon as possible and make an impact. On top of that, both schools would give him the chance to go back to his home state of Illinois. But then I found something even bigger. Michigan. Just like Illinois and Northwestern, they're in the Big Ten, but they have had way more recent success than those schools. Kam would have a chance to start as a true freshman, but unlike those schools, Michigan has the chance to make it to the college football playoffs and even compete for a national championship with the amount of talent they have. So while Texas was still Kam's dream school, Michigan had officially become one of the most interesting options in his recruitment. Coach dialed up Kam's favorite play. Kam ran the route perfectly, but the quarterback completely mistimed the throw and the ball hit the turf. Incomplete. Now it's 2nd and 10. Back to the exact same play. Kam runs the route again, but this time he gets the catch. He blows right past his defender, and he's gone. The 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. He taunts a little, then he dives in the end zone. Touchdown, Warriors! Kam Mcneese brings the whole stadium to their feet. Fast forward to the end of the game. It's the 4th quarter. Steinbrenner is holding on to a 38-35 lead, and with 2 minutes and 43 seconds remaining, the Warriors are facing 3rd and 5 on the Titans' 29-yard line. Kam had already helped move the ball all the way down the field, but now they needed one more first down to keep the drive alive. He runs across the middle, makes the catch, and somehow holds on to the football after taking a huge hit from the linebacker. First down, Warriors. Then, just after the 2-minute warning, Steinbrenner gets the ball down to the 10-yard line. Kam takes off on a deep route towards the end zone. Touchdown, Warriors! Kam Mcneese seals the deal, and the Warriors walk away with a 45-35 win over Tampa Bay Tech. And after one of the biggest games of his high school career, it finally happened. Texas officially offered Kam Mcneese. After wanting him to prove himself against one of the best teams in the county, Coach Sark has seen enough. And now Kam had a full scholarship offer from his dream school, the Texas Longhorns. Even though this is the offer that Kam had been waiting for, he still had a few more games of his senior season left, and a few major decisions left. And after the homecoming game, the offers started rolling in. Clemson offered, Northwestern offered, Illinois offered, and the Oklahoma State Cowboys offered too. The Cowboys could be a real wild card in this recruitment because they have one of the best young quarterbacks in college football with Drew Mestemaker. And these were not weak offers either. Every school is putting together a strong scholarship package to try to land the #1 tight end in the nation. But after the offers started coming in, even more coaches started hitting up Kam's line. Michigan made another push. Illinois continued selling Kam on everything their program could offer, and Miami told them that they were sending scouts to his next game. So heading into the matchup against Sickles, Kam knew another big performance would make his recruitment even crazier. And with only 2 games left in his high school career, Kam started looking at more than just the names of schools that were recruiting him. Texas was still his dream school, and even at 3-3, they were still ranked number 25 in the country. Michigan was also 3-3, but unranked, while Northwestern, Clemson, and Oklahoma State were all struggling. The 2 undefeated teams that stood out were Nebraska, who was 6-0 and ranked number 14, and the University of Miami, who was also 6-0 and ranked number 2 in the country. And this mattered to Kam. He did not want to spend his college career trying to rebuild a bad team. He wanted to compete for championships, become a legend in college football, and make an impact right away. So as his decision got closer, winning started to become one of the most... Fast forward to the 3rd quarter with 4 minutes and 29 seconds remaining. Coach dials up a corner route for Kam. He explodes off the line, blows right past his defender, the quarterback puts it up, Wanga! Kam goes up and snatches it out of the air at the 10-yard line. He comes down with the football and fights his all the way to the 3-yard line. A huge... Now, the Warriors are sitting at the 3-yard line, looking to finish off the drive. Coach dials up a play-action pass for Kam. He gets the ball, but absolutely gets popped. The defense wasn't letting him into the end zone that easily. Now it's 2nd and goal. Kam stays with the play action, but this time Kam makes a veteran move. He adjusts his route to a drag, slips underneath the defense, and the quarterback finds him for the touchdown. Kam Mcneese finds the end zone once again, and Steinbrenner extends their lead in the rain. Now it's the 4th quarter, with 8 minutes remaining. Stein is trailing by a touchdown and are backed up at their own 20-yard line. Coach decides it's time to take a deep shot. He dials up a deep ball, hoping to catch the defense off guard. Kam gets behind the secondary and makes the catch. Oh, nah! He just breaks that man's ankles, and he's off to the races. The 40, the 30, the 20. That man's trying to stop him. He's giving it his all, but Kam will not be stopped. Touchdown, Warriors! Kam Mcneese ties the game, and Steinbrenner makes the comeback. Before Kam's final game of his high school career against Steinbrenner's biggest rivals, the Gaither Cowboys, Coach sent him a message. He told Kam it was time. Before decision day, he had to narrow his recruitment down to just 3 schools. So Kam took one last look at every offer. Texas was still his dream school. Even at 3-3, the Longhorns were one of the most promising teams in the country. Had one of the strongest scholarship packages on his board, and Coach Stark had made it clear that Kam was one of their top priorities. The only downside was that Kam would come in as the 3rd string tight end and would have to earn the starting job. Michigan was a completely different story. The Wolverines were only 4-6 and unranked, but Kam would have a chance to start as a true freshman. On top of that, Bryce Underwood gave Michigan one of the brightest futures in college football, and their scholarship package was one of the best on Kam's board. Miami had the opposite situation. The Hurricanes ranked 9-1 and number 3 in the country with one of the best scholarship packages Kam has received. But if he chose Miami, he would begin his career as the 4th tight end on the depth chart. Nebraska was undefeated and ranked number 14th in the nation, but Kam would also be the 4th string tight end there. Northwestern and Illinois could offer early playing time and a chance for him to go back to his old home state. But neither program had the success that Kam was looking for. Oklahoma State had Drew Mesnemaker, a bright young quarterback, and a good head coach in Eric Morris. But the Cowboys were struggling. Also, Clemson hadn't done enough to separate themselves from the rest. After weighing every option and looking ahead in his future, Kam had finally made up his mind and cut all the schools down to only 3. Texas, Miami, and Michigan. 3 schools, 3 different parts of the country, and 3 completely different paths. The biggest decision of Kam's life. Now we head to the 2nd quarter, and remember, it's raining. The Warriors are trailing against their biggest rivals, Gaither, 14-7. Coach dials up a medium developing pass, hoping to get Kam open. Kam runs a great route, but the quarterback sees number 9 wide open on the left side instead. He makes the catch and gets all the way down to the 11-yard line. On a few plays later, Coach gives Kam a chance on a contested catch against a much smaller defender, but the quarterback checks it down again. Kam wanted the football. Now it's 2nd and 5. Coach comes right back to him. Kam runs a perfect route, makes the catch, and fights all the way down to the 1-yard line, coming up just inches short. At that point, Kam had one thing on his mind: getting that touchdown. Coach calls his number one more time. Kam slips open and makes the catch. It's touchdown, Warriors. Even in the pouring rain, Gaither has no answer for the number 1 tight end in the nation. Now it's 1st and 10. Kam runs right past the defense, makes the catch, and his defender dives at him, and he completely whiffs it. Another defender comes in flying from the left, and Kam breaks his ankle. Finally, a defender from the right side gets him down. Then, onto the very next play. Coach calls Kam's number right again. He runs across the middle, gets a step on his defender, makes the catch, and walks it into the end zone. Touchdown, Warriors. And once again, Kam gets another touchdown for the Warriors to tie up this game on senior night. And now, this is it. Kam's final drive of his high school career. Every practice, every late night, every workout, every game with his friends, every drop of sweat, it all had led to this moment. The Warriors trailed by their biggest rivals, Gaither, by 1 touchdown with just 2 minutes remaining. Could the number 1 player in the country lead Steinbrenner on one final game-winning drive? The Warriors take over at midfield with just under 2 minutes to play. Coach dials up a corner route for Kam. He runs it perfectly, but the quarterback sees the receiver on the right side instead. He makes the catch and comes up just inches short of the first down. On the very next play, Coach calls play action. Number 4 gets loose right down the middle, makes the catch, and gets tackled on the 2-yard line in the end zone. And now, this is it. Kam breaks across the middle. The pass is there, but the linebacker's right there too, and he just pops Kam. And it's an incomplete pass. He was all over him. Then they have another chance, 2nd and goal. The defense shifts right before the snap. Kam comes across the middle again, pulling the coverage with him, and that leaves number 5 open on the right side. Touchdown, Warriors. Steinbrenner has made the comeback and beats Gaither for the first time in 5 years. And Kam Mcneese ends his high school career on a comeback victory. What a way to end his career. Kam left it all on the field in his final high school game. He finished with 2 touchdowns, made some huge blocks, and most importantly, Steinbrenner knocked off their biggest rivals, the Gaither Cowboys, 28-27, giving the Warriors their first win over Gaither in 5 years. And after a performance like that, Kam's phone blew up one last time. Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee offered him. 3 of the biggest programs in the country officially entered the race. But for Kam, it was already too late. He had already narrowed down his recruitment down to just 3 schools: Texas, Miami, and Michigan. Every offer was now off the table. Now after his senior season, dozens of scholarship offers, and the best season of his high school career, it was finally time, decision day. Before Kam decides his future, there was one final honor waiting for him. When the high school season came to an end, Kam's incredible season had earned him the highest recognition possible. He was officially named the number 1 tight end in the nation, the number 1 player in the state of Florida, and the number 1 overall player in the entire country. And now, with every college in America wanting him, it was finally time to make the biggest decision of his life. After an incredible high school season and finishing as the number 1 player in the country, it all came down to this moment. Kam had narrowed his recruitment down to just 3 schools: Texas, the University of Miami, and the University of Michigan. Michigan offered Kam the chance to start right away with one of the brightest young quarterbacks in college football. Miami was 9-1, ranked number 3 in the country, and made the national championship the year prior, and had one of the best scholarship packages on his board. But Texas has always been different. Kam picked up the Michigan hat, looked at it for a second, and set it back down. Then he reached for the Miami hat. Another incredible opportunity. He tossed it out of there. There was only one hat left: Texas. Growing up, Kam always knew how much the Longhorns meant to his grandpa. Ever since he was a kid, wearing burnt orange had been the dream. Kam smiled, picked up the Texas hat, put it on, and officially announced his commitment. Kam Mcneese is headed to the University of Texas, the dream school. The dream finally came true, but the high school story is over. Now, the real road to glory begins. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to comment, like, subscribe. This video took me a while to put it all together. And if you guys want to see part 2 of Kam Mcneese's road to glory, the goal is 10 likes. If we get 10 likes on this video, I'll make part 2. And yeah, it was pretty fun playing the game, but editing takes a long time. So that's why it took me a minute to make this. Alright, y'all, so that's it. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Let me know if you want to see any other stuff. Beatbox out.